Good morning, welcome. Thanks for tuning in to Kilachari Torah's daily review of Rambam Sefer HaMitzvahs, Maimonides' listing of 613 Taryag mitzvot of the Torah. Let's talk today about bugs, specifically not eating them. The Torah prohibits eating bugs on many accounts with many different expressions, lashonis. So let's take those 5 or so prohibitions as they come in the Rambam's listing. First one. We are prohibited from eating any swarming winged insect. So, flies, bees, hornets, and similar insects, we are forbidden from eating them. All winged swarming things are unclean to you. They should not be eaten, says Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 19. You could look it up. The note from Sefer HaChinuch, again a contemporary, a rough contemporary of the Rambam, maybe a little bit later, says we should not be surprised that the injurious effect of some forbidden foods is not known to us, even to physicians. The true faithful doctor, the curer of all, in other words, God, who has commanded us in all these things, is infinitely wiser than we. How petty and foolish is the one who thinks that only those things which you understand or that they're bad for you are prohibited. That's not the way it is. In our days, we're going to encounter some pushback from those who think that, who want to maintain that eating bugs is the wave of the future. They're high in protein, lots of other minerals and nutrients. They have a much lower carbon footprint, as it were, than cows and chickens and all that. So they say, why don't you just eat bugs all the time? Well, thanks for the suggestion, but we're going to stick to the Torah for now. It's done us well. Not for now. We're going to stick to the Torah for all times. It's done us well, and we'll continue to do so. Next prohibition, eating anything which swarms upon the earth. Worms, beetles, coleoptera, and so on. Those things which swarm upon the earth. They don't fly. They grow. They live on the ground. Is also prohibited. Another prohibition, eating any creeping thing that breeds in decayed matter. So anything that, any bug, insect, pest that breeds in decayed, moldering objects, even those, the Rambam writes about those ones which reproduce through asexual reproduction, are forbidden to us. We should not defile ourselves in a fashion by eating those things. Next prohibition, eating living creatures that breed in seeds or fruit. Once they've emerged and move about on the seeds and fruit, if we find them afterwards in the food, we're not permitted to eat them. Whoever does is liable for penalty for that. The last one, I think, of these that we'll discuss today, which has a very long explanation here. If you're interested further, I'm happy to provide you with this material. Prohibition for we should not make ourselves detestable. Bal teshaktu, don't make yourself disgusting, I think is how we would translate today, with any swarming thing that swarms, nor make yourselves unclean with them, that you should be defiled thereby. In other words, eating any swarming thing. There's a Gemara which the Rambam brings and argues with, actually, from Makos. Where is it in Makos? It's Tes Zayin. It says that if a person eats an eel, it looks like a snake kind of thing that swims through the water and very popular in some parts of the world, a person is liable to punishment for four transgressions. If a person eats an ant, they're liable for 5 prohibitions, violating 5 prohibitions, and a hornet, in other words, a bug with wings, 6 counts, 6 various prohibitions that have been transgressed in that. The Rambam says it's not that way. He's asked around, and there's no more than 3, I think he says here, penalties that are incurred. However, of course, a person does not, there's no double indemnity. A person is given 1 punishment for each violation, and that is that. Nevertheless, we are going to continue in our vigilant studious avoidance of eating bugs, checking our lettuce, checking our vegetables, and so on for bugs, making sure that we don't eat any of them, even by accident, even a part of them, and so on. And nowadays, when it seems like the balance between insecticides and insecticide-resistant bugs is a real struggle being played out. Of course, we have to take it that much more seriously and to be that much more careful to ensure the kashrus, the fitness and appropriateness of all the things that we consume. Okay? It's part of being a holy people. That's the beauty and the obligation, the privilege and the calling, and we will continue to observe it faithfully and take inspiration from that. Have a good day. Please join us again tomorrow. All the best.